Hey community, thank you for being here today. If you are new to the podcast, my name is Lou and I'm a clinical hypnotist and oracle creator. I have been guiding for more than 10 years and I just published the Soul Synergy Oracle deck. It is available on my website. I have a promotion going on. You pay only $49 until December 1st and receive 3 audio prayers of the deck. I will send the prayers to your inbox. Thank you to everyone who has left a review. People are gifting the deck to their friends. They are using in group meetings and they have said it's great. It's a great tool to connect with others as well. I use the deck daily, and one of the most powerful concepts of the deck that has changed my life is the concept of generosity that I borrow from Buddhism. This new path that is unfolding for me is definitely guided by this value, and it has brought so much love, light, abundance into my life. Order your copy and awaken your creativity and intuition in the journey of creating synergy with your soul's longing. Visit www.lucamy.com. For Hypnosis Sessions, I have space for new clients. You can fill out the contact form and I will get in touch. Follow me on Instagram, soul.synergy.oracle, and please sign up for my newsletter to receive special offers. Let's dive into the topic of the day. Awaken your intuition and live in harmony with life. There is a higher creative expression for any given moment. And what leads us to experience it is being aware of the power of choice. It is the power of choice that leads us to fulfill our soul's desires and callings. We don't fulfill our deepest callings and goals by thinking positive, but by retraining our mind to think with God or with Source or with infinite creative intelligence. We don't heal or transform our lives by thinking positive. We transform by learning the practices that can lead us to undo the thinking of the ego, which is based on lack and attack. Everything that comes from the ego is fear-based. And when we are so disconnected from God within, from the soul, our higher self, from that particle that is divine, that is graceful in us, when we forget, when we are living in this connection with this particle of light, with our inner light, we must find practices that will lead us to go back to the source or go back to who we truly are. And there are thousands and thousands of practices that can help you to embrace the perfection of each moment. There must be an integration of mind, body, and soul. When there is coherence in mind, body, and spirit, we can change our lives. When our thoughts, our actions are in alignment. Since our human experience exists to support the evolution of the soul, intuition plays a big part in our evolutionary journey because intuition is an internal guidance system. Without this internal guidance system, what happens is that we become lost in thought, overthinking, fear, and we absorb the thinking of the world, which is based on fear, attack, and scarcity. Intuition guides and motivates us to act in ways that support our highest good and therefore the highest good of others. Intuition is linked to your higher self and to the connection you have with the universe, with the whole, with the totality. When you move with intuition, you are moving with integrity, you are respecting yourself. How to know if you are moving with your intuition? How to know if your intuition, if you're integrating your intuition? Perhaps you're doing a lot of practices, healing, and how to observe this process, this integration in your life. One, if you're moving with your intuition, you are moving with integrity. You are respecting yourself. You respect your emotions. You respect your evolution. You respect the place you are. You respect the cycles of life. You respect and honor your gifts. You respect and honor the gifts of others. You are not in self-harm mode. You are perhaps in this process of letting go of addiction. You are perhaps in this process of letting go of abusive relationships and maybe taking taking care of yourself more. That's intuition. That is your higher self showing up, expressing. Second, you move with grace. You are one with your divine self because your divine self works in harmony with the entire universe. So you respond differently. Perhaps people that would create a lot of anger, or people that would, make you feel very hurt, nowadays don't bother you that much. Or you can see violence, brutality, cruelty, but you no longer take that. You no longer absorb this. You are more in tune with what's permanent. The reality of the world is impermanent. Whatever is happening right now, it belongs to the world of illusion. When we are in connection with our intuition, our higher self, we are not trapped in the world, right? There is that saying, you are in the world, where you are not off the word. You are not attached to it. And third, you are moving not against life, but in harmony with it. You actually find meaning. Recently I had a situation with the Soul Synergy Oracle deck. That's something that was kind of delayed, and I was a little afraid. And about the timing, I was afraid a bit of it. It's something bureaucratic, something about the business. And then at some point, this intuition came and say, hey, actually, it's not delayed. This delay is actually helping you to focus on something else. This delay is actually helping you organize something. When I reframed that, what was happening was actually, when I saw it as something helpful to my business, it created so much light and openness and luminosity, and things became so much easier, and things were flowing. And now I begin to approach that with grace, and actually things unfolded in perfect ways. I feel that when we are, opening to be in tune with our graceful energy, we no longer feed problems. We find solutions, and we find the lessons, and we actually use things not against us, but we use them to support us. And I think that is a big part of being intuitive. You can see through. You see beyond the veil of illusion. You are no longer overthinking. You are no longer focusing on what's going wrong or this scarcity mentality, but you move your energy in a different direction. Okay, so that would be the first stage of integrating your intuition. A lot of scientists, poets, and artists have described a sense of channeling creativity and information through altered states of mind, dreamlike states, and receiving knowledge that change the course of humanity. So in our daily lives, when we are disconnected from intuition, we become too focused on the material level of existence, and that limits our creative potential and our ability to access this library of infinite knowledge. Your intuition is a library of infinite knowledge. It will guide you. It will tell you what is beneficial to you. In Hypnosis Sessions, for example, I offer sessions where we begin to explore intuition, and I explore different techniques, different practices to guide my clients to explore this process. I work a lot with creative people. My clients, they often say to me that they're feeling more excited, more vibrant, more energized, and more able to make choices that support their highest good. I work a lot with addiction, behavioral issues. I work a lot with people who are struggling with addiction, and this process of tapping into their intuition is amazing, because we can also say that your intuition is your superconscious mind. Is that part of you that's whole and complete. The conscious mind is the logical, the analytical mind. The subconscious is the feeling mind. It's that part of you that stores information, memories, is the seat of imagination. And the superconscious mind is peace. The superconscious mind is your connection with the divine, your connection with the universe. Hypnosis helped me to open the channels for my intuition, my intuitive abilities. Hypnosis helped me awaken my intuition, because when you are in this altered state, when you are in this relaxed hypnotic state, you can deliver suggestions to your subconscious, and the suggestions will have a profound effect. So I love working with dreams to explore my intuition and understanding my fears, the things that I am suppressing, creating dialogues with dream characters and dream symbols, and understanding what's their message, what they need to talk, what they have to say. Another way to explore intuition is working with divination tools or oracles. That's why I created a Soul Synergy Oracle deck. By pulling cards and asking questions, setting an intention, you are working first with the language of the subconscious, which speaks through images. And oracles or divination tools, they will bring wisdom to our life's experiences. By beginning this process of integrating this wisdom or this awareness of things you might be afraid of, things you might be holding on to, things you would like to call in more, by exploring some themes that are coming in your reading, you begin this process of noticing synchronicities, signs, or integrating this awareness in your life. As I said in the beginning, what can transform your life is not positive thinking, is the ability to become aware of your power of choice, is the ability to know that you have the power of choice. We can only embrace the highest creative expression of any given moment if we are in tune with the power of choice. If we are not a victim, if we are not trapped in fear. And intuition guides us to make choices that support us, that support our path. Oracles, divination practices, they basically help us tap into this knowledge, the subconscious knowledge that we are not aware of. And by removing the conditionings, removing the fears, removing the blockages, we can tap into the true self. So what I'm saying here is that there are practices, mechanisms, tools, techniques that you can access externally to guide you to tap into something that is internal, right? These practices that will help you in your process of making choices that support you. So the tool itself, the oracle itself, is not the truth. The oracle is a mirror. The oracle is a guide. The oracle is a coach, a soul coach. The oracle is just the piece of wisdom that you might be blocking because your thinking is, you are living your life with the thinking of the ego, or you're living your life carrying the baggage of fear, carrying your conditionings. I have a client that she said, wow, when she came, she was not feeling good. She was crying, a lot of sadness and depression. And then after a few sessions, she's like, oh, actually, I'm feeling great. I'm having breakthroughs. And how do I know that this is real? How do I know that I'm not making this up? When we are awakening our intuition, we actually experience, the word that I like to use is miracle. To me, healing is a miracle. Healing, to me, is basically when we shift our perceptions, when we become more whole, when we go from fragmented, from broken, from feeling unease, feeling uncomfortable, feeling not belonging, feeling fearful, feeling resented, to feeling at peace, feeling whole, feeling hopeful, feeling more love, being more generous. This is a miracle. This client said to me, how do I know that this is real? If you are experiencing peace, and you are doubting that this peace is real, it's because you have been so long, you have been disconnected for too long from your true self, and that's normal. And the process of becoming more intuitive is this process of trusting what brings you peace. It seems kind of too simple, but because the ego made everything complex. To the ego, everything is very difficult and complicated. And to undo the thinking pattern of the ego demands some work. What happens when we undo the thinking of the ego is that we become more peaceful, and that's the whole point. So my invitation is that these little glimpses of joy, of peace, of lightness, that is who you truly are. And my invitation is that you trust them more. For example, you connected to a friend and you had an inspiring conversation, you were started to exchange interesting things, and you became kind of inspired. Trust that. Or you decided, instead of overworking, you decided to give more attention to your dog and spend a day doing things for yourself, and that made you feel great and whole. Trust that. Trust that. Because when we are trapped in fear, we are giving fear some type of power. And to awaken intuition, we must break free from the thinking of the ego. Most of us grew up with misconceptions about intuition, or we suffer trauma that caused us to shut down our abilities or our intuitive abilities. For example, when I'm talking here in this context today, when I talk about intuition, I'm talking about basic type of intuition, like intuitive eating, living in connection with the universe and respecting yourself. I'm not talking about premonition. I'm not talking about, but this is part of intuition, when you can sense things, when you can be more in tune with the patterns. You can watch energy more, you observe energy, and that can tell you something. That's also another part of intuition. But today, I'm talking about level 1, okay? And then level 2 is gonna be maybe in another episode, when we are actually using the tools and exploring the tools to help us have an ability to read life more accurately. But if you are using your intuition to create happiness in your life, to increase happiness for yourself and others, that is a wonderful way of using your gifts. But there are people that might have the ability to see, the ability to read aura or see the future, but they use that in ways that, oppress others or make people feel dependent. And my idea and my invitation is that we all awaken our intuition, we all feel empowered and empower others in this process. This is what we need. Nowadays, with all this crisis that we are going through, we need to empower others more. We need to help our community more. I partner with Loaves and Fishes, which is an organization here in Ithaca, New York, that provides free meals, and I volunteer with them. Also, part of the sales of the Social Energy Oracle deck go for this organization. And what I would like to invite you is that now, if you are using your intuition to help your community, you are using your gifts in ways that are empowering to you and others. And to me, that's something very important to say. So, for example, I was working at Mockingbird. I worked there for 2 months, offering readings, offering social energy readings. It was incredible. I have done so many readings there, so many readings. And I was always explaining to people that were going there that my reading is about understanding the subconscious blocks. I always explain that when I am, pulling the cards from my own oracle and using the Soul Synergy Oracle to offer readings, we are basically exploring your subconscious blocks and what your soul is calling at this moment, and how we can find ways to support you. An oracle is a tool for self-discovery, and then when we learn how to read life, when we learn how to read our own emotions and how to respond to them in ways that support us, we create transformation in our lives and miracles can happen. I would like to share with you my personal way to strengthen my intuition, to awaken my intuition nowadays. I do a lot of things, but one of the things that I will share today is through devotional prayer. And I've shared this before. I have now a prayer practice. I have a devotion to the Great Mother, can say Virgin Mary. You can call it, Divine Mother, Divine Presence. So I invoke this presence. I pray. I have been praying the rosary. I use a rosary, and through this connection, I have received miracles, I have received messages, I have received a lot of guidance, and it is impressive. And I want to cry just talking about that, because I have studied so many other religions and philosophies, and through this practice, I just found this divine feminine energy. I found the true divine feminine energy, and it is not logical, it's not conscious, it's an experience, it's a feeling in my heart, and I do believe that we are all intuition is very feminine. To be intuitive, to have more intuition, we must be in the space of receptivity. In the Soul Synergy Oracle deck, there is the card receptivity, and I think that card also represents this energy of the divine, the Great Mother, which is, being the womb from which things can flow, being the passage, being the channel. And to be a channel, we must be in a graceful, open state. We don't access the divine as an invader, as an aggressor, with control. We tap into the divine from a space of openness. Whatever brings this openness to you is what I invite you to explore. And there is no right or wrong. There is the exploration of what works for you. What I realized is that what was missing in my life was the devotional piece. That sometimes other practices opened some channels for me, but through devotion, I feel that when we are in devotion, there is some humbleness that must happen, humility that must happen, that releases the ego, and it's like priming ourselves to tap into the divine and God and receive miracles. Wonderful. I love this conversation. Please share this episode with your friends. I hope I'm gonna talk about intuition level 2 in the next episode. Order your copy of the Soul Synergy Oracle deck by visiting www.lucamy.com. There is a discount until December 1st. I just want to say that I love you guys. And when I see my clients in town, when I'm getting coffee or I'm at the grocery and I see you, I just want to say that I love you. Okay. And I'm here for you. And another thing. Okay. So I'm open to creating wholesale partnerships. And if you have a yoga studio or spa or a store and you would like to sell the Soul Synergy Oracle deck at your place, please contact me through my website. Blessings and happy holidays.